The avocado producer reporting third quarter revenue that topped estimates thanks to increased demand for the fruit. Next up, Under Armour is lowering its outlook for the year. The athletic wear brand said that its restructuring plan will cost more than predicted. Remember, the company is reorganizing itself under CEO and founder Kevin Plank, who retook that top role in April with the promise of finding cost savings. And finally, consumers getting some relief from grocery bills, especially if they shop online. New data out from the W shows that online grocery prices fell over 3.5% last month, which is the largest decline since over 10 years ago. Of course, you can follow all the latest company buzz on TRN Go on your Bloomberg terminal. Meanwhile, we're about 4 minutes away from the opening bell. As you can see right now, the S&P 500 currently up about 0.4%, building its momentum in the pre-market. The Nasdaq 100 a little bit ahead. You can see big tech regaining some of its momentum that maybe it lost last week, and the Russell 2000 guys, the small caps, also up a little bit, about a tenth of a percent.
I hadn't realized just how bad last week was. I saw in the
It's like super bad. It was pretty miserable.
The worst start to a month since 1953 at least.
You're having some of that bad attitude get wiped out of the market right now. Oracle helps actually too. You're seeing the AI trade back in play. Let's see how long it lasts. That's true. Of course, and this is going to script. We knew that September was going to be bad, but I think last week's still a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when you have a company like NVIDIA that goes from like 600 billion to 3 trillion in such a short time. All right, we're going to come back and talk to Franklin Templeton's Katrina Dudley.
Welcome to the Now Wait Network. They switched to Juniper's AI native network and everything's simpler, so they can take their game to a whole new level. Because now their network is self-configuring, self-detecting, and self-healing. They even have a virtual assistant named Marvis, so they can simply ask the network.
What's the Wi-Fi today?
That's the Now Wait network at work, with real AI, letting you rise above it all.
European countries need to think, do you want to compete as a small country or do you want to compete as Europe? I don't think they have a choice because the US and China have already started the race. And Europe needs to follow. There isn't a European company in the top 20 largest firms in the world. That is a problem.
What does it mean for individual countries within Europe?
You can have more control and less growth, or you can have less control and more growth. If countries trust each other more and they build more European champions rather than each country having its own national champion, growth is going to be better, productivity growth is going to be better, the welfare is going to be better. But there is going to be less control at the national level. So right now, each European country wants to have its own telecom company, its own couple of large banks,
Its own bank,
its own large energy companies. And the question is, are you willing to surrender some of this control to European firms, which are going to be more productive, but you are going to have less control at the national level?
Yeah, power women. Playing the dragon. They're lawyers, they're CEOs, they're all important decision makers, women in the world. Why do you position your products for this field? When I started, designing, I always want to do something that is empower women. When you take a look at your store, there is something planned. And then, my powerful women's daughter wearing their mom's dresses, and they feel the power of the energy. So now they come back to the store and they buy more.
Futures continue to trade positive, just 20 seconds away from the start of trading. This is Bloomberg Open Interest. I'm Matt Miller. day yesterday at 1.2%. We're seeing continuation of that, not to the same extent, but S&P futures as well as NASDAQ 100 futures gaining about a third of 1% today ahead of the big presidential debate. I think political risk is front and center. Obviously, you had the growth scare that caused us last week to have the worst start to any month since data going back to 1953. So in at least 70 years. To me, that's pretty significant. Here you see Black in Business, Goldman Sachs, 1 million Black women ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Down at the NASDAQ market site, you have T. Rowe Price ringing the bell with, looks like an ETF. And ETFs are a hot topic at this hour. We're going to bring you some news on ETFs and private equity in just a moment. But right now, let's get a check on the major averages. For that, we go over to Katie Greishel. Katie?
Yeah, 37 seconds into the trading day. You can see, again, we have green on our hands following what we saw yesterday. Of course, that big rally that Matt was referencing. Remains to be seen. Last week, of course, was a seasonal flip to be expected, or maybe if we see this rally go south. But for at least right now, the S&P 500 up about 0.4%. The NASDAQ 100, your big tech stocks, up by 0.5%. And small caps also seeing a little bit of love. The Russell 2000 up about 0.2%. Now, underneath the hood, some stocks to keep an eye on. We had Oracle and Rubrik reporting after the bell last night. With Oracle touching an all-time high right now. As demand for AI cloud infrastructure continues to outpace supply. A different story, of course, for cyber from Rubrik, which also reported earnings, signaling doubts about growth in the second half of the year. You can see that in shares right now, Sonali.
$3 billion mandatory preferred stock sale to help HPE down 8.3%.
In the EU's Court of Justice in Luxembourg, siding against Apple and against Google in a couple of multi-billion-dollar cases regarding the tech giants' business practices. Here's what EU Competition Commissioner Margaret Vestager has to say about developments.
You need to, of course, own your own victories, but you also and we've had both. Also, sometimes to take a risk. Try to make sure that the market serves the consumer, and that we are not just small pawns or meat for the machine.
Bloomberg Technology co-host Ed Ludlow has the details, and Ed, I'm not sure if it's a huge surprise, at least in the case of Apple. We knew they were moving events ahead, right? Moving events up in order to avoid some kind of news like this. What's your take?
Well, I mean, Apple's response is that they're disappointed, but I think you're probably right that the market's braced for this, particularly if you look at where the stock's trading in the first few minutes of the session. I mean, it's down 0.8%, right? Vestager, this is a big win for her. You know, she's maintained this argument in Europe that any member state making a selective tax deal with a specific company is illegal under state rules, that it basically accounts or equates to state aid. And this goes back to 2016. You'll remember Tim Cook famously said that the original order for Apple to pay back taxes in Ireland was, quote, total crap. And so here we are. It's happened.
And I didn't know you were allowed to say that on TV, so it's very exciting to learn that. Let's talk a little bit more about Apple specifically, though, because, of course, this comes after their big day yesterday. And if I recall correctly, one of the reasons they had that event on Monday was because we were expecting this ruling.
Yeah, that, and also we have a presidential debate tonight.
I heard about that, yeah.
The Bloomberg report was that the Apple Hello Time event had been scheduled for the 10th, and ultimately it was the 9th, and yesterday it was important. And, you know, it's hard to know with the stock down 1% whether we're trading on the hardware and Apple Intelligence announcements of yesterday, or if this is the Apple Ireland tax